All right, welcome to it's a double header today for those of you on
Ooh.
Facebook. Double header with our Brilliantly Resilient live program, giving you resources, especially now in this time of unprecedented crisis, to reset, rise, and reveal your brilliance. And I can't stop laughing because we've already been having fun as we disconnected the whole thing and reaching into refrigerators for some happy hour beverages because we have Kevin Riley of the Naked Brewing Company. Hey.
Woo!
Ladies, good evening. How are you?
Good.
We are
We're
good.
going to
And
reset,
hello,
rise, and
everybody
reveal
out
our
there.
beer brilliance, huh?
Yeah, we're brilliant, amongst other things, but yes.
What's up, Kev? Say hi to our people.
Hello, people. How are you? I'm stoked. I am so excited.
This is
We
we're
don't
all
usually get that reaction.
Yeah.
I know, right? I know. Well, this is definitely going to be entertaining. But the funny thing is, here we all are laughing, and as a lot of what we're going to talk about, and why we asked Kev to come on this, is the struggle is real for businesses right now. And here's the funny thing: when I called Kevin, I was like, "Dude, how about you do this show with us? And people really need strategies for how are you dealing with shutting down your business, taking care of employees." Mary Fran, Kev goes like this. Oh, this has been a nightmare since we started. There's been all kinds of stuff that's happened. It's like, okay, we have another sucker punch. All right, we're just going to handle this one. So I gave a little bit of the I don't want to spoil everything, but Kev, tell us a little bit about were you always I know you've always been a fan of beer. You haven't always been in this business.
Carrying that, senior year of high school, bringing that cooler full of Coors Lights into the house parties. I've always been a fan of beer.
Surely you mean senior year in college.
Yes.
Yes.
This is a G-rated show.
Yes, of course, senior year of college, yes. So, yes, I've always been a fan of beer, but, about 10, 12 years ago, I got really involved in craft beer. I like the whole business model of it, small artisan crafters, making these, beers, just not your typical, Dad's Ortlieb's or Dad's Mill or something like that. And so in my day job, I get to travel. So I've been to a lot of places, a lot of different breweries. And when I came back, whenever I come back to Philly, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to try these out. So I guess it was probably about 7 years ago. I live in Feasterville. Walking the Naked Brewing Company, sitting there getting a pint to go, and a friend of mine from high school that I really hadn't seen since June 6, 1988, comes out of the back. And I'm like, Jimmy, what the hell are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm one of the owners here. I'm like, no kidding. So we kind of rekindled a friendship, and it blossomed into being kind of like an advisor for them. And then about 2 years ago, one of the partners, we were looking for a succession plan for him. He had to get out of the industry. He was switching jobs, and it just wasn't for him. So my wife and I ended up being the succession plan. So that's how we are here today.
Very cool. Now, when you were telling me that you've had so many bumps in the road with this business, give us a little bit of background on that.
So like anything, I mean, it's basically when craft beer first started, breweries like us were only allowed to sell for off-premise consumption. Okay, you can come in, you can get samples, but you had to take the beer to go.
I didn't know that.
So that was so it was very tough because you had to do distribution. So you'd have people who wouldn't only package the beer but also distribute it, and that that overhead was really expensive, and it just didn't seem to be working out. So you kind of shift gears a little bit. Thank God, in the infinite wisdom, when Governor Wolf came in, he enacted a rule that not only can craft breweries in Pennsylvania, distilleries, and vineyards sell for off-premise consumption, but also you can open up a tap room and sell whatever you make right there. So basically, Naked Brewing not only was a brewery, it became a tap room. And what we found since I've gotten involved the last 2 years, that's kind of where the business model's going. So the bumps with the distributorship, the bumps with just getting out there, getting out retail, fighting for shelf space, marketing, things like that costs money. And listen, we're really not a big operation. We do just under 1,000 barrels a year. We distribute, we do local now. We go within 15, 20 miles of Huntington Valley. We're a couple places in Lower Bucks, far northeast, but also people just come into the tap room and experience that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
See, I had never experienced the whole craft brewery and the tap rooms and all that until we had a little mini reunion right before the whole world shut down. My high school friends through our daughters all playing basketball against each other we had this little mini reunion at your tap room, and then I was like, I actually want to jump past the reset and rise to brilliance, because I just want to make sure that we get this part out. Kev's brilliance, because I've known him so long, so I already know this, and you can hear it a little bit in what he's saying, is networking and a vibe of just hanging out and chill at a place like that. And when you walk into this brewery, so I walked in, I'm like, really, we're going to a brewery? Like, I love you guys, let's have it there. But I didn't think I would have anything. Like, I'm thinking you're going to be brewing the beers, and it was the coolest vibe you could ever imagine. The live music, everybody hanging out, and we ended up meeting everybody in there. Yeah. It's just cool neighborhood people coming and hanging out.
Well, that's basically what it is. Like how I picture, and the reason why I went in there, I would go in there. Well, I'm going to tell you my Friday nights. I would go in there on Friday nights, have a couple beers, get a couple crowers to go, stop at the pizza shop on the way home, and then my beautiful wife would meet me with open arms at the front door. And then we'd sit back and we'd enjoy a nice night together. And that was basically a Friday night thing. And guess what? Our fathers, our grandfathers, you know what they did when they came out of the factories, when they came off the docks, when they walked to the tap room, they had a couple beers with their friends, and they went home. And usually the wives would smack them in the head, ask them what the heck you're spending all your money in the tap room. But that's usually, that's usually what it is. So it's kind of gone into more like a tap room mentality now instead of being a brewery. And what we're finding is that, and Kristin, you bring up a good point, networking. I'm going to tell you something. The craft beer industry is probably the #1 industry for owners working together.
Okay? Yeah, I've seen that all over social media. That's bizarre.
And I tap into a few people that I've grown relationships with, and these are my go-tos. Okay, I'm going to tell you, running the tap room and brewing the beer is the easiest stuff. The hardest part is dealing with the state, dealing with the feds, dealing with this, dealing with that. And now with thank God, with this pandemic we're dealing with. And I just saw a few minutes ago that the stimulus package was signed. They're making it very, very helpful for small businesses like us to get some working capital. However, if you've seen some of these websites and some of these applications, in fact, I have to go to Patient First to get some blood drawn, and I got to FedEx it over to the SBA so that I can get a loan. They want everything.
Really? Is that true?
It is. And you know what? They have the reasons. Like my day job, I do have a little bit of an underwriting background. And I know why they're doing this, because I think sometimes people take advantage of these situations.
Well, yeah.
We truly have, 2 full-time employees that we had to let go for now. Mm-hmm. And then we also have six bartenders that basically these people, they rely on their tips. They get a very small hourly wage. They rely on their tips. And when there's no tips, they're not making any money.
Yeah.
So and the stimulus package, it's going to be great. Thank you very much. Thank you, federal government, for doing this. But you got to jump through hoops and roll under wires and do handstands to get it. But yeah, it's well worth it.
Well, speaking of that with your bartenders, and part of your reset, your brilliance is in your reset too all the time after these sucker punches, because I saw on Facebook that your community is rallying around the bartenders.
Mm-hmm.
With that tell them what you're doing with that.
Right, and that's just not with Naked Brewing. I mean, I saw Miller Coors is giving $1 million stimulus to the bartenders. I mean, it's just something that how I look at this, and I hate to bring back when 9/11 happened. Mm-hmm. Everybody fell in love with the cops and the firemen and the military. Okay, this is like our 9/11. This is the service industry people, the hospital workers, the nurses, the doctors, the janitorial services, the truckers. I'm going to tell you something. These guys, I don't think they're going to get speeding tickets for the next 2 years, man. These guys are just getting things done. But that's where it's getting, everybody banding together and helping those that are going to help you, that are going to benefit. like we talked about earlier, Kristin, yesterday, you know, you have to surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up. We have to cheer these people because guess what? I'm running a little low on Scott TP and I got to get some.
You know, we talk about tribes all the time. And I think the thing that I'm really liking and loving what you're saying, Keivn, is that there's no hierarchy in your tribe. Everybody, like at this point, everybody's like, we just got to get through this together. It doesn't matter who's where in the pecking order of this whole thing. It's you ultimately recognize that without all of those moving pieces and all those people, you don't get to get your business off the ground.
You know, and it's funny because you know, hitting the reset button right now on Sunday, I spend time over in a brewery. I'm not a brewer, okay? I don't even try to be a brewer, okay? But we're over there. We have beers that it's actually when it goes through the brewing process. It goes and it sits in fermenters, and that's where wort is actually beer before it goes in the fermentation process. When it goes in the fermentation process, that's where the magic happens. Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 80. We got about 100 barrels of beer that we call sleeping. Okay, so there really isn't much you have to do with them when they're sleeping, but you got to go over and make sure the temperature's right. You know, you got to check velocities and things like that. So I'm over there with my partner who does have a brewing background. You know, I'm usually the guy behind the scenes doing the finances, saying, okay, yeah, we have the money to do this, we do this, we do this. Now I'm over there cleaning kegs, I'm over there stacking kegs, I'm over there filling kegs, packaging beer. That's usually, you know, that's roll up your sleeves, you have to get it done.
Yeah, you do what you got to do to make things happen. And you know, at this point in time, I think so many of us are just trying to stay afloat. But the fact that you're taking care of the people that you really aren't seeing now every day. I mean, none of us are seeing anybody every day. But, you know, the fact that that's still a part of your consciousness all throughout this, and it's not just about saving your own skin. That's what we're trying to, you know, everybody's got to help everybody else out. And then we all lift each other up.
Yeah, we've been very cognizant of you know, this is a transferable disease by social contact. Yeah. Like when you're bartending, you're grabbing glasses, you can wash your hands 60 times an hour, but there's always that one time where you might have brushed up against something. So in the state of Pennsylvania, they shut down all on premise. So we can't serve alcohol in our tap room. But what we can do, okay, is, and that, not only us, but everybody that's in that brewery, vineyard, distilling industry, we can sell beer to go. So what we've been doing is we suspended operations this weekend because we wanted to, we don't want to put too many people at risk. We wanted to adhere to what Governor Wolf was saying, 14-day quarantine, we're not going to do anything. But we were selling, people go online, buy packaged beer, come up, it's like a drive-through, hey, okay, here's your name, let me check your ID, boom, give them some beer. So the industry's still moving, but it's kind of moving at a snail's pace.
Yeah. Yeah. So then how do you, and this is probably you're learning on the fly and figuring it out every single day. Do you guys make a plan as owners now for if this is lifted in 2 weeks? Do you change every day with or do you just say, okay, look, we are done for a while and then we'll revisit?
So I'm going to share with you we have a text message, me and the other owners, and there literally is 5 or 6 different methods to get this SBA lending, to get this federal stimulus. Every one of them, you need different requirements. So they're sending me stuff like, listen, we're gonna time out here. Let's figure out exactly what the best process is for us. So right now, what we're doing is we're kind of in a holding pattern, okay? Because number one, you try to go on the SBA website, it's crashing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It is just, you know, and having a little bit of background there, if you can't handle the bandwidth, you can't handle the bandwidth. So, but what we're doing is, and this couldn't come, it's kind of a blessing we look at as ownership. We're looking to open another place. We were supposed to open another on Saturday, okay? And because this all happened, we're kind of able to step back, see where we really need to be, because usually when you open a business, you want everything to be perfect, but you're always going to forget stuff.
Yeah.
You know, well, now we have a chance to take a look at things like, oh, we forgot this. Let's make sure we had this. We did. So it gives us an opportunity to review our business plan, okay, that we did 3 months ago. And as we reach those milestones, but there's always those milestones are like, oh, it's okay. We'll take care of that one later. That's not important. So now it's an opportunity for us to take a look and say, well, we can take care of that now because guess what? We have the time. We're going to have the time. We're going to have the time for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, that's a great way to look at it. Because at first I was like, oh, crap, you guys were about to open something. It's like, well, Mary Fran and I just launched our whole program. We got one event done, and we were ready to, like, everybody was excited and we were going to go roll this thing out, and then everything shut down. So we just pivoted and did live now, or virtual.
Yeah, this is like, I have a funny feeling that this is going to be a learning session for all.
Well, everybody's in the same spot. I mean, we're kind of making up the rules as we go, and there aren't any rules.
And
we're making up the rules that there aren't any rules. That's the rule.
Mary Fran would tell you bring up a great point. As an ownership, we sat around and we were discussing as we're working last Sunday in the brew house. And we're like, hey, listen, if it was us, if we were the ones that weren't able to be open, if we were the ones that didn't have a cash flow, if we were the ones that, creditors are going to be knocking on the door in a couple of weeks, then guess what? There's some issues there. But it's everybody.
It's everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we weren't, and what we're learning, what I'm learning more is how much, honest with them, learning who really you can trust in the industry and who you can't. That's what I'm really learning right now. But we're actually learning that, guess what? Breweries are essential businesses. I never thought that. I mean,
for real?
They have us categorized as a food service. And then, which is outstanding, is I'm not intimately involved with this, so I can speak a little bit of it. So we're working with several distilleries in Bucks to create hand sanitizer. Okay. So what we're doing is we're taking wort, okay, which is beer before it's fermented. We're taking it over to several distilleries, okay, in Bucks County. And what they're doing, they're distilling it you distill it to 190 proof, then you put some adjuncts in it, some aloes, some things that aren't going to make your skin peel away. And then we're going to so there was a call today. I wasn't involved with it, with the Bucks County Department of Health. They're starting to finalize things. So so we're also socially we're doing the right thing also for helping the community.
But that's it's almost like that's the through line of your business model. And why that speaks a lot to why you can constantly reset and rise, because you have that vibe of everyone in your tribe is important, like Mary Fran said, and you are a community. Keeping the community together. And that really, I can't wait for it to reopen for folks to go back in there, because it really is the vibe that you get in there. And when we were in there that night, I mean, we're all a bunch of moms, and we graduated from high school 157,000 years ago, right? Then there was young people. It was young musicians that were in there. There were people older than us, and everybody, it's just and the bartenders hanging out and talking with them, and they were interested to know about all of us in high school. It's just a very cool community vibe that now, I mean, obviously that's the through line that's going. I mean, you guys are making the hand sanitizer. You've got a fundraiser on Facebook with the T-shirts for the bartenders. It's really cool.
Yeah, and that's something, we're you say your tribe, okay? Out of the ownership, you have myself, you have Maureen. Chris, I think you know a little bit about Maureen.
A little bit, since we were like 8.
Yeah, a little bit. And then we have my other partner, Jimmy. Jimmy's actually a pipe fitter by trade. So he's a pipe fitter during the day. And then my other partner, Sean's been in the brewery industry for about 8 years now. So we each bring a distinct discipline to the organization where we're able to work together and just mesh and make things run smoothly. So I think I got a pretty awesome tribe here.
Kristin and I, we talked about this with somebody else, with Susan this afternoon, and I'm so struck every time we talk to somebody about how this comes out every time. It all comes back to you operating on what your value system is. And it doesn't really matter what business you're in or whatever. You have that certain value system, and it's about community, and it's about supporting people. And the way you do that in your business is through the brewery. But at its most essential, that's what you're doing. You're living your value system through your work.
Right. And to be quite frank with you, you can use I use my values, not only with the brewery, but also my personal life, my professional life with my day job. It's just there's an old saying, the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would telling you. I shared, the old Rocky quote with Kristin yesterday. It's not how many times you get hit; it's how many times you get back up.
Yeah.
And listen, I don't care. People. It might appear that they're flawless. Guess what? They've gotten not only kicked in the gut, they've got their brains beat in a few times. And you know what? You learn from it. And I think that's where with us, we've that this industry, every time I talk to a new brewery that's open, like, what can you tell me? I'm like, peaks and valleys. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're gonna think you're at the top of the world, and then guess what? The next month you're like, where'd everybody go?
Yeah.
And there's been quite a few places that have opened, right around Bucks County. And we've been open since, we opened April 1st, 2012. April Fool's Day. How lucky is that? Huh?
That's so unlike you, Kev. Something goofy like that? No way.
So it's like, there's always obstacles. There will be obstacles, whatever you do. But it's how you look at them and say, you know what? If we have a plan for it, great. If not, I think Mary Fran said it. Listen, we're gonna learn on the fly, and we're gonna break through this.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's like the foundation of being brilliantly resilient is that that obstacles are coming. And when you go into stuff knowing that stuff's going to come, it's almost like, it sucks half the time, but at least you can go, oh, okay, here's where I have to reset again. How am I going to take the steps forward and then use my gifts and talents to get through all that? And it sounds like that's what you do every time that comes through. And I'm really hoping that people that own small businesses right now watch this, because your energy and optimism are what they need to infuse into their moving forward. And I get it. All of our speaking stuff was canceled. The book tours, everything is canceled. And there are days when we fall and we're in the pit, but if you don't come up with that energy and optimism, then you don't make the necessary steps for the rise.
Right. And then, something, Chris, I think that anybody that has a small business, they have that entrepreneurial spirit. Okay. We're personal friends with people that are in the restaurant industry and stuff like that. And and they told me, listen, feet first, boom, you got to go all in. I just hope those people that started this and had that attitude 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 14, 15, 30 years ago, you got to keep that attitude now, because there's been, these are extraordinary circumstances.
Yeah.
Unprecedented. We're hearing, May. Let's hope you guys have enough funding to go through to like June 1st. At first we're like, a couple weeks will be okay. We'll clean everything up, we'll be able to tidy up a bit. We're just waiting for the clock to turn, but yeah. So I think that having that spirit, but also continuing to have that is important. Don't lose focus. Be positive. God loves you, so do I, and we'll all get through this.
There's a T-shirt that we can have made with
God
Kev's face.
So do I.
We'll have Kev's face on it. God loves you, so do I. All right, look, here's the other part of the brilliance. Kev had Mo drop off, socially distance approved. What do you call these, crowlers?
I think she fired him out of the sunroof, didn't she?
She was driving by.
Were the kids in the driveway?
No, me and the dogs. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Tell me what the one is pomegranate wheat.
Yeah. So Chris is more and so do you have the pomegranate wheat?
I didn't open that one. I opened the other one.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about
making a mess.
So Chris asked me. She said, "No, I really don't like beer," and that's okay.
I don't like craft fancy beer.
I still love you.
I'm a basic girl.
So at Naked Brewing, listen, a lot of places get pigeonholed into a specific style. Okay, we don't. There's ales, there's lagers, there's IPAs, there's stouts, there's porters, there's sours. We try to run the gamut on that. So what I think, Chris, is what you have is Buck Naked Pale Ale. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. In keeping with the whole naked theme.
Hey, yeah, people that are listening on the podcast, I do have a tank top on and pants. Yeah. I had to go with tighter pants, so I stopped eating so much.
Really? I'm
I don't know how your brain works.
I'm wearing
fantastic.
my pants.
And I have my class of '89 reunion Pilsner glass.
Look at that.
Oh, I
There you go.
just revealed our year.
There you go.
157 years ago, we graduated from high school.
Not
No,
cool.
it's good stuff.
Yeah. So naked. So I'm sorry. Buck Naked is we actually brew it for the Buck Hotel.
There you
Stop
go.
it, really?
They've
About
been
that.
serving that for God, I can't even tell you. Probably about 5-6 years now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's one of our beers. So people come in, they like the traditional beer. That's what we serve them.
I like it, and I'm not a fancy beer person.
I just am loving how this is so community focused and community oriented. I mean, the whole time you were talking about the tap room and all that, I'm thinking, well, these are the corner bars or whatever that people used to go to way back in the way back in the day. But there's a different vibe. It's not the place that just the dad sneaks into on his way home from work.
Yeah,
it's more of a community gathering place, and you're making the beer for the Buck Hotel. I mean, that's awesome.
Well, we have, and I mean, Mary Fran, you seem to like the the philanthropic attitude we have. We actually brew a beer called Playwicki Pale Ale, which is made for there's a farm in
the park.
The park, yeah, Playwicki Park, yeah.
Oh
You're
my
kidding.
gosh,
That's actually
cool.
one of my favorites. Yeah, it's a pale ale that we rack, and when you rack a beer, when you transfer it from the fermentation tank to the bright tank is where the beer's carved. We rack it with lemon and lime zest, so it's got a little bit of a citrusy. Citrusy kind of a little bit of a little bit of a lemony.
I like the beers that have a citrusy taste because I'm not generally a beer drinker, but that I do, especially in the summer, hot summer day.
So you're a wine person, I guess.
I am. Yeah.
So Chris has one, the pomegranate wheat. So wheat ale is what we do is we have a lot of base beers. We have a wheat beer, we have a pale ale. And what we do is when we take the wheat ale, we rack that with pomegranates. So it gets
I love
fruity.
pomegranates.
And when I'm walking through the tap room, and in Pennsylvania, we can serve whatever we brew as well as any wine or spirit made in PA. So we have wine from Crossing Vineyards. We have liquor.
Well, when this is over, I'm there, baby. I am. Just sign me up. I'm there. Where is your place located, Kev? Exactly.
So we're on 51 Buck Road. Okay.
I've been to your place. I know it.
Have you taken any of your kids to Beat Street?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where it is.
Beat Street is the bar and bat mitzvah capital of
Bucks County.
Well, we were all the Catholic. We took all the Catholic kids. But
I know that's what the Catholic is like. Why don't we do this?
Yeah, it was the
Catholic wedding. We do that.
But I swear, we got gift cards to your place for my adult kids last Christmas.
Stop it.
Wait, I'm not kidding.
Oh, let's all go and they can use the gift card.
Oh my God, that would be so awesome.
It is
of course,
such
they all
a
got
cool
themselves
place.
pregnant at that point, so they had to hang on to the gift cards. But
Please don't blame the beer to gift card.
I'm not.
The beer might have had a little something to do with it. Okay?
You could have, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, this has been a great conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Where else can everybody go to find you, especially for that?
Yeah.
Where did I see the fundraiser for the shirts? On Facebook?
So what I'll do is, Chris, I'll share with you. It's actually on our Facebook page, Naked Brewing Company.
Okay.
Facebook, Instagram, all the social media outlets. But yeah, we're excited about that. That was my partner Sean, and actually her daughter and her daughter's friend came up with and another gentleman who does a lot of artwork for down in Center City. They came up with the artwork, which I think is kind of cool. And
that's what I loved when I saw it. It was a community project.
When you take a look at it, I kind of have a keen eye, I'm
So humble.
If you do say so yourself.
Blues Clues, he's got nothing on me. But there's in the mask, there's a skyline, okay? And it has 4 buildings in the skyline. And Chris, take a look and see if you can identify all 4 buildings.
4 buildings, right? I'm gonna look.
And talk about community. I'm gonna give you a hint. We're in Huntington Valley now. We're this close to opening the doors in Bristol Borough, and because we're new to the community there, we thought we'd give them a little shout out, a little homage. And I'm going to tell you something else. Getting back, those people Bristol Borough, the township, everybody there,
Oh,
they've welcomed us with open arms.
I believe it.
They
They're
can't
good
wait for us
people.
to
That they are talk
They
about
are
community
spectacular.
oriented.
And it
Yeah.
is the cutest little town. You know,
Mhm.
I was down there a couple Saturdays ago. Real quick story. I felt like a regular. I went down there. I went to got some coffee, some donuts. They went walking. Hey, I felt like it was like Maybach.
Hey, Kev.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool, and we're excited about that because it's a really cool location, very walkable.
Yeah.
Where we are now, listen, we're an industrial park, but it fits us. That's
Oh,
where
when you walk in there, though, it's like you forget where you are.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really cool.
Awesome.
I mean, and I'm a little picky about that stuff because I'm,
Picky.
old and picky.
You're
Yeah.
picky.
And it's just a cool vibe as soon as you walk in. It's awesome. And you have there's no food inside, but they bring food trucks
Yeah, we got food
outside.
trucks. Yeah, yeah.
It's
Food
just
trucks.
cool, casual hanging out with
Yeah.
That's
and
fantastic.
we all sat there are these giant picnic tables
Mhm.
we were sitting at. It's a really cool vibe, especially like I can't wait for us all to get there when all of this is lifted, because after all the stress and all of this, when we finally get to gather again, to be able to gather someplace like Naked Brewing it's going to be the perfect spot to hang out.
And
Well,
everybody watching, everybody listening, come out. I'm going to type if it's not Naked Brewing, go out and support your local pizza shop, your local restaurant. It's if anything, we can really use this now.
yeah, good stuff. Well, we'll definitely once it opens, we'll send shout outs to everybody of our followers. And hey, maybe we'll have to go live from Naked Brewing.
My gosh, wouldn't that
We'll
be
take
awesome?
one for the team. We'll drink some beers. I mean, I'm in this.
I would love that.
Sign me up. I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
We got to put the link for the shirts and all that on our Facebook page.
Yeah, so it's live now, and then I'll put it in the comments, and then we'll reshare it, and this will upload to YouTube and all of that, and we'll put the links in there too, so we can share it far and wide. And as they always say at the tap rooms, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to tip your bartenders. Right?
Or you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
You can't stay here.
But unfortunately, we're going to be staying here for a little bit.
Well, unfortunately, we can't stay here
Yeah.
on this broadcast, because I could sit here and sip
All
these
day.
things all night
Yeah.
and chat all night. But Kev, this was absolutely. See, Mary Fran, I have brilliant friends, don't I?
You do. You do. I'm not going to say anything else.
This
That's
is-
good, Kristin. Good.
This is being recorded now because when I'm there on New Year's Eve or something, or when,
And I'm like Kev, and Mo's like
one night when
Kev.
yeah.
We will be like, remember, I'm brilliant. Remember,
Yes.
we'll get you the shirt.
Gonna
Kristin
wear a
Mary
new
Fran,
shirt.
This has been what's that?
You're gonna wear a new shirt. I'm
Yeah.
brilliant. Remember,
Oh,
I'm brilliant.
I mean, this is what I've known Mary Fran. God, I met my wife in October 17th, 1987.
That's when you met
Wow.
I
Mo.
remember the date. Yes.
Look
And
at
then,
you.
and then I met Kristin that Halloween.
And life was never
So
the
so
same.
this has been a life sentence, hasn't it?
It has been a very long time. It's been a very long time. And just doing this and Mary Fran, I'm thrilled that I'm able to. I'm not brilliant, and I don't think I'm overly resilient. I'm just glad to share some experiences and talk to you guys, and hopefully this will help somebody out that maybe doesn't think that they're so great.
Well, we think
there
you're
you go.
both, Kev. I mean, I clearly just met, but your story proves that you are both brilliant and resilient. So we can't thank you enough for joining us. It's
I
been
appreciate that.
a real pleasure. Really enjoyed it.
Yep. Same
All
here.
right, everybody go pour a drink somewhere. It's definitely after 5 o'clock somewhere. Toast
yeah.
all the small businesses and all of you that are building your toolbox of resilience. Give yourself a break tonight. Give yourself some grace. Toast yourself. Get some rest. Reset, rise, and work on your brilliance tomorrow. So,
And don't forget to put some hand sanitizer in there for me. Okay, for now.
ladies and gentlemen, there you go. End it with hand sanitizer. Thanks, Kev.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.